Hi guys, how are we? Hope you're well. It's another week. Concert Keja here, Inspire YG. So Inspire YG is an acronym for Young Generation. Okay, so Inspire YG both on Instagram and on Facebook. So I like to give a bit of a background of for those who are here for the first time. Thank you for popping in. And for the guys who already family, already know what it is, thank you for popping in, for supporting your girl. If you're here for the first time, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to welcome you. So I'm a lady, obviously, from Kenya, East Africa. That's where I was born. I was born in a place called Thika. I love that place. And it's a town known for its beautiful, yummy pineapples. So anyway, that's where I was born and bred, and then moved to Australia around 8 years ago. Came here for studies, and then sort of made it my home, my second home. So I've been here for, like I said, 8 years. Came here as an international student, and then just discovered that I just did not come here for studies. I came here to discover who I was, and actually to discover who I am, because it's still a continuing journey. I'm still doing that. I'm still discovering and rediscovering myself. And so yeah, in a nutshell, that's my little background. And so I jump on here at least once a week and I share my journey. I like to say I'm just a girl next door, ordinary girl who's just gone through a very interesting journey. For lack of a better word, like an extraordinary journey. And so I had so many opportunities as an international student, and I thought, look, after I finished uni, I thought, let me just have a platform where I can actually share some of those experiences, and this page was born. And like I said, it's also on Facebook, which is where I started. So Inspire YG on Facebook and Inspire YG on Instagram, and pretty much share how that journey has been, the journey of an international student, but also all the other opportunities that I was afforded on the journey, but also the challenges that I encountered and how I overcame them, just so that anybody else who is planning to go on this journey doesn't have to go through those struggles that I went through. Anyway, so this is another week, and I felt in my spirit that I should share some of the experiences I've had while traveling internationally as an international student. So that means traveling across the world with a Kenyan passport. Okay, because I'm literally still a Kenyan. I now live and work in Australia, but obviously I'm still with my Kenyan passport, or at least I'm still transitioning, so I'm still with the Kenyan passport, and when I travel, that's what I use. And so I've had very interesting experiences traveling as a student. Like I said, I have traveled on my own, all my life. Like I feel like I have been to 7 countries and 10 states around the world, and I traveled alone in all these places. It could have been on scholarship, going for uni in Italy, or going to visit my god sister in Germany by myself, or visiting UAE with my mom, going across Australia, like every country I've been, or Bangkok for the the UN summit, for the symposium of university students around the world. I have traveled by myself. And the times that I was not sponsored, I actually saved up money and just used my savings. And so I don't like to think that you should have an excuse to why you shouldn't travel if you're an international student, or if you're in Australia for that matter. So anyway, I'll give some couple of experiences that I had traveling. Some of them that were not so good, and some of them that were so good. Now, I thought I ask you, let me know down below, have you noticed that when you experience, like when you have like bad experiences, or like experiences that make you feel sad or humiliated or frustrated, you tend to remember those more than you actually do remember the good ones. Like you definitely, I feel like as human beings, we go through the goods and the bads, right? It's part of life. It's the ups and the downs and the hills and the valleys. But for some reason, okay, let me speak for myself. For some reason, I've got almost like a selective memory for the good things that have happened in my life. And then like a very good, perfect, almost like a 100% perfect memory for all the terrible things that have happened to me. I've got no idea why I've got a collective of this. And maybe this is one of my other resolutions that I want to put there, like to be able to let go and forget the terrible experience I've had, and maybe hold on to the good ones. Anyway, so I wrote down 5 experiences. I actually call them humiliating or frustrating experiences that I've had while traveling across the world as an international student. But then I thought, look, I need to challenge myself starting from this video to actually be able to remember the good experiences as much as I want to remember the not so good experiences that I've had while traveling. So I'm going to share both, right? So the first one, removing shoes at airports. I don't know why, like, this particular thing always irks me. And look, not that I feel like sometimes I want to not follow the law. I don't know why. Like, I feel like it's nice to break the law. It's terrible coming from me, right? But there's some things that, yes, it's law, but there's some things that don't always make sense to me. There are 2 countries that have been made to remove shoes at the airports, or at their airport. Funny thing, one of them was Kenya. It's my country, right? That's where I was born. I couldn't understand why like, it's, you know, customs. They ask you to remove shoes. I'm like, there's germs. I don't know. I probably have some type of, like, I don't want to say I have OCD. That's pretty much like a clinical, you know, condition. I wouldn't even say that I have OCD. I don't want to do that to myself. But I feel like I'm a germaphobe. I really think about germs a lot. Doesn't help that my mother looks at germs on a microscope for her profession. But I just feel this thing, like, especially now, anyway, I haven't traveled anywhere since COVID, so I don't even know how I'm going to feel when I jump on an international flight, which it's inevitable, I will have to. But that whole thing of removing shoes at the airports drives me nuts. Anyway, so like I said, that has happened in Kenya and it happened in Dubai. I didn't like it. The next one, chest x-rays. Oh God, this is another one. So I'm sharing experiences that I've had while traveling or while maybe applying for a visa or something. So chest x-rays, I've experienced that in Kenya when I was applying for my first visa to come to Australia for studies. And then the many visas that I've had to apply to travel or to stay in Australia or to work in Australia. So when you're doing a chest x-ray, they actually get you to remove your bra, and then you wear this random huge t-shirt top. I don't know what it's made of, but you look like a balloon. But then as you're walking, you know, you don't have a bra, so it's it's so, I feel exposed. I mean, nobody can see me. Okay, nobody, you know, it's not transparent. It's a good kind of garment, whatever it is that you wear, but you still walk around braless. There's some type of humiliation or some type of I feel like some part of my dignity is stripped off every time I walk with that thing to go and have that chest x-ray. And mind you, this is a law, it's a rule, it's a requirement if I need the visa, so I have to do it. But if I was to be asked, oh, I hate that part so much. That's the second one. The third one, yellow fever. Oh my God. So I had never known, well, I knew when I was traveling from Kenya that I required yellow fever. So there are countries that you are not going to go to, especially if you're coming from Kenya or you have a Kenyan passport, if you don't have the yellow fever card. I wish I had it here. It's somewhere. Yeah, not gonna look for it. Oh, let me look for it. Give me a minute. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I could show. I probably take a picture and I'll put it somewhere here. But yellow fever, I had a terrible experience in Bangkok where I went to Bangkok for a conference, right? From Australia. I had not been to Kenya for 5 years when I went for this conference. Well, for a long time when I went to this particular conference. So nobody had told me that there's this checkup that they do in Bangkok if you are from Kenya, and they will not allow you to actually pass through their gates if they haven't double checked your yellow fever card, and I don't know what else they check, whether you've got the fever. I have no idea. They don't even care that you are not coming from Kenya. The fact that you have a Kenyan passport, they will stop you there and you will stay there for hours. I was there for hours. There's a whole board of countries that they don't allow their citizens to go in until they verify this yellow fever thing. So there was like nearly all African countries were there. Maybe South Africa is the only country I didn't see, and then majority of South America countries as well. And I was like, why am I going through this when I'm not coming from Kenya? I have not been in Kenya for God knows how long, and now I'm here being, I don't know, sitting here feeling, I don't know. It was just terrible. Like I said, it's a law. They have to follow the law. They have to do what they have to do. It's their country anyway. But there's something about, I just feel like if I was going there with an Australian passport, that would not have happened. But anyway, it was, I was there for nearly over half an hour. And I was like, oh God, it was my first experience. I had never known that's a thing, because even when I come into Australia, I don't even remember anybody checking yellow fever. Yes, you tick somewhere that you've got it, but it's not such a big deal. And prior to that happening in Bangkok, I had traveled to Germany, Italy, Netherlands, and none of these countries had asked me for the yellow fever. So I'm up to date. I don't understand what it is with yellow fever in Thailand. Anyway, moving on. I had an experience at Dubai airport. Now, what I have noticed is through my travels that the countries I've been to, the citizens of that country have actually been very hospitable, and for most part, really, welcoming and inviting and make you feel like they're happy that you're visiting their country. But the immigrants who've moved to that country and have probably become citizens or permanent residents, and they have now these positions of power, they're the people, majority of the time, they're the people I have felt unwelcome by, or I have felt scrutinized by, or yeah, just uninviting. And that experience I had it in Dubai. So, and I'm going to speak about the good experiences that I have had in these same countries. So the Dubai experience was, I was there for a holiday with my mother, and I was coming back to Sydney. And I get to the gates, now I'm boarding the flight from Dubai to Sydney, and this officer stops me. And he's asking me all these irrelevant questions that I know he shouldn't be asking me. I think it's good to know when to be meek and when to actually speak up when you're feeling in your spirit. There has to be another reason why you're asking me these questions. You clearly are not asking everybody. And why do you choose to ask me? So I have always traveled with a separate bag. I always hang it here, and it has all the important documents I know will be required by the officers, either immigration officers, at the officers at the airport, or whatever it is for that matter. Because in as much as I always like to stand up for my rights, I also want to do the right thing. It's in me to do the right thing, right? But my intuition is always very high, and I can always know when something is not authentic or when someone is just going overboard. And so I've given my passport, I've given my visa, I've given my paperwork, my flight, my ticket and everything. And then they proceed to ask me, so why are you going to Australia? I said, I'm a student. Oh, where is the proof of the school you're studying? Where is yours? Did he even ask me for a COE? Like, he was nearly asking me my transcript and how the grade I get at uni, and what's the proof that Australia has, I'm a student at ACU. And I was, it got me a point where I started feeling in my spirit getting worked up. And so I asked him, excuse me, sir, I've given you all the documents I think you require for me to board this flight. And I think the questions you're asking me right now are irrelevant. They're actually not important questions. Every document that you need for me to board this flight, you have it in your hands. So the questions you're asking me right now, I don't think you should be asking me, and I don't even think I should be answering you. Am I right? And he actually was shocked. He gave me back my document so quickly, as if he didn't want like another officer who knew something was wrong to come from somewhere and find that the situation is happening. He gave me so quickly, and then became so humble and told me, enjoy your flight, mom, just pass. And I was like, what just happened? It was a moment of reflection, because I realized that in that moment, the intent, there was an intent, there was something that was driving him to prompt me and ask me all these irrelevant questions, and he was testing me, and I up to date, it didn't make any sense. That was the experience I had in Dubai. Now, and clearly the officer was not a Dubai citizen. I could tell he was an immigrant. And I was like, I don't even understand it. Why would you put me through this when you are an immigrant yourself? Anyway, that's my fourth experience. The fifth experience and final experience was in Sydney. So I don't know where was I traveling to. I must have been going to Europe somewhere, either Germany. I think when I was going to Germany or Italy. And this is at the Sydney airport, the customs, obviously the check-in point, security checkpoint. And so they have a board there saying random checks, right? No, actually they didn't. I pass, so I get, you go through the screens and nothing beeps, so I'm good. And just when I'm collecting my bags to go, there's a group of Aussies in front of me. They're all Aussies, I can tell. And they all pick up their bags and they go. And just when I pick up my bags and I'm about to go, this gentleman stops me. Excuse me, ma'am, I have to do a random check. And I said, okay, so what criteria are you taking to do these random checks? Because from what I can see, since I was in the queue, every person who's passed, you let them pass. And I'm the random person that you want to do the random check on. What's the criteria you're using to determine who you're choosing for these random checks, right? And he looks at me and he says, ma'am, I'm sorry, it's a random check, and I'm choosing everybody. I said, I've been in the queue. I've seen so many people pass, you did not random check anybody. So I feel like I want to know, why am I so random for you to do this check? And look, I had to ask, not that I had a problem to be checked. I allowed him to check my bags anyway, but I think I wanted to make sure that I challenge his conscience, so that, because I felt like he had a bias conscience, like, you're looking at me and you're thinking, this is the kind of person that requires to be randomly checked. All these other Australians, Caucasians, they can pass. They don't seem like they are random people to be randomly checked. I just wanted to show him that I can identify what he is. Like, I can identify his conscious bias, and whether or not I'm going to comply anyway, but I want to make sure that I challenge your conscious bias, so that next time you randomly pick people, randomly pick anybody or everybody, that regardless of how they look or who they are or where they look like they are from, don't be biased. Like I said, once again, this looked like an immigrant, was an immigrant in Australia, but obviously having the status of maybe citizen or wherever, that's why they're in that position. But I've never had that kind of an experience with an Australian, like a person who I know was born and bred here, or maybe third, fourth generation Australian. Now, those are my terrible experiences. Let me quickly jump because I don't want this video to be so quick. I think I am going to do another video and talk about my good experiences at the airports, at these same airports, right? Because I don't want this video to be so big. Anyway, I've had people ask me quickly before I wind up. I've had people ask me, Connie, how do you manage to travel, and don't you fear or worry about countries that people are that are racist? And I say, wait, what? Which countries are racist? I don't think there's any country that is racist. And I think if a country could speak, they will be probably very offended, or they'll feel some type of way that you could label them like that. I think every country has got different kind of people who have not been exposed to the rest of the world, or who have not been exposed to something different from them. And so I think that's pretty much where the indifference and or what people might call racism or discrimination can come from. But I don't think any country I've traveled to, no matter the experiences I've faced, even in Australia, that I can say this country is racist or the people in this country are. It's let me tell you something about growing up, and I think I'll do another video and I'll talk about what happens when you grow up in a country where you are the majority. You travel the rest of the world and you can be able to identify injustices or discrimination because those are not things that are normal to you, right? And so you have a different kind of confidence when you travel and go to different worlds, because not only do you respect the cultures that you find there, you also understand and you have self-awareness of where you're coming from. And so that confidence helps you to be able to not walk in fear, and to not always walk feeling like a victim, or waiting for people to discriminate you, or waiting for or feeling bad about experiences. You learn from them, you challenge them if you can, but you don't let yourself to be victimized by those experiences, because like I said, every experience, in different experience I've ever faced traveling, I've never said I'm the problem, that's why I'm being picked on. I've always said, unfortunately, this person has not been exposed to more than what they know, and so they're just indifferent. That's how I see it, and I dust myself off from the situation, reflect on it, and move on. And so I hope this video helps you, and please helps you to know that you can travel anywhere in the world, regardless of who you are, your gender, your race, whatever, religion, whatever you're from, whatever makes us uniquely diverse. And so so thank you so much. And if it's the first time popping onto this, please consider subscribing. Let's grow this page, and share this page to anybody that you think can be helped by what I share. So thank you so much, and have a beautiful week, and God bless you until the next time. Bye.